lovely ones. Hi, coming to you here in Italy on this scintillatingly hot summer evening. I'm in my kitchen because the upstairs studio is so hot I can barely breathe. And so I decided to bring this edition from my kitchen. I've got my new white linen dress. It's sort of white and grey, striped. I've also got a blue one like this. I love them. They're pure soft linen, and they have a sort of, this has a grey sort of stripe on it. The other blue one has two shades of blue. I have my lovely ethnic necklaces from West Africa that are made of soft cotton, and they have a lovely popper. So super nice when it's hot, nothing clunky and hot, just super and fresh. So, and tonight I'm super excited to tell you that I'm going to do my top 5 from Italy. So my top 5 fragrances that I adore from Italy. I'm about 10 minutes late because had to move computers, had to move locations. So I hope my live audience who normally joins me is with me tonight. So I'll just wait to greet everybody as I'm slightly late. And as I mentioned, this is coming to you from my kitchen in Italy because the studio is way too hot. We've had temperatures of just under 40 degrees Celsius the whole week. It's been super hot. I mean, scintillatingly hot, unbelievable. I'm incredibly lucky that I have an old house, so the thick walls and the stone walls keep it well insulated from the heat. And I'm incredibly lucky because I don't know what I would do if I had to have a modern flat with the sun beating as it does upstairs into my windows. So living in an old house means it keeps it cool, it's lovely and insulated. And as mentioned, I'm here in my kitchen. So if you're joining us for the first time, my name is Amanda. I'm coming to you from Italy. This is the summer edition, Saturday night. I always do the same time, 9:30 on a Saturday. We're contemplating changing to Sunday if it suits more people. But as it stands now, it's still Saturday night from Italy. And I'm looking forward to welcoming people from all around. We normally have people from New York join us, people from Ireland, regulars join us from Italy, from Europe, from Australia, even from South Africa sometimes. And so if you're watching this back later and you didn't find the live, that's super great. Lots of people watch. It goes out immediately as soon as the live is broadcast, and you can leave me a comment or you can subscribe and like. Please like the video. It does help me a lot if you enjoy it, of course. And if you like what you see and you want more, I come to you every Saturday from Italy, and we cover lots of subjects, but mainly we talk about the perfumes we're loving, what we're doing, some travel, just some general chat, really. It's a great live, and I really enjoy having you guys along. So great. So let's get to it. As I mentioned, if you want the names of any of the fragrances or you don't quite catch them when you watch it back, click the downward arrow on the description box, and I always list the perfumes that I review there. So, as I mentioned in the introduction, tonight is going to be top 5. So that was quite hard for me, choosing 5 fragrances that I love and adore. It wasn't easy. And when I was picking them out, I found that limiting myself to 5, wow. Okay, so it's hot, it's summer. I've got a bunch of Italian fragrances on rotation that I adore. it's no secret that quite a few of these that I'm going to choose for you tonight and talk about tonight are vintage fragrances. My name on Instagram is Italy Vintage Perfumes. I love vintage perfumes. I love Italian vintage perfumes. So that's no surprise. So I'm here to tell you the 5 I'm choosing tonight for life. That means if you could just grab 5 perfumes, if your house was burning down or you could only choose 5 perfumes to run and go, what would they be? That's what top 5 is. And I'm going to challenge some of my favorite YouTubers to join me in this. So if I tag you later on Instagram, it means that I would love you to leave me a comment here with your top 5 for life. Good. With the hashtag top 5 for life. So let's get to it. So that little explanation was to tell you that in choosing the 5 that I chose tonight for my top 5 for life, I realized they were all Italian. And of course I felt, I've left out some of my favorite French fragrances. So I kind of decided that next week I'm going to do top 5 French for life. These are top 5 Italian for life. So comes with that proviso. If you do join us and you come into the room, won't you just add your name in the chat box down there and maybe your country or your city that you're joining us from, because I love to welcome everybody and that's a nice way, and it's good for me to know who's watching and where you're watching from. So do be kind enough to let me know your name and where you're watching from. So let's get straight to these top 5 on this hot summer night in Italy. Sizzling hot. Which reminds me, I can't even get it together for champagne. I've got sparkling water because it's the only thing I can manage to pour down my throat in these hot days. So let's imagine this is vintage champagne, even though it's sparkling water. Gorgeous, refreshing, so refreshing. Oh, iced water. The only solution in life is iced water. Anyway, so let's get to these top 5. If you're just joining us now, you might have to go back and watch this back when you leave me a comment because I've been online for a few minutes. But anyway, I'm looking forward to my regulars joining me and new people. If you're new here, again, my name is Amanda. I'm coming to you from Italy. Tonight, top 5 Italian fragrances. They're on my rotation, so they stand up to the heat. And I'm going to start with my favorite that I posted on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram this week, I posted this because I adore it. So it's called Suspense. It is a vintage. It's by Lancetti. I've done various Lancetti reviews. I've done a whole Lancetti edition. I'll hook it up there if you want to watch it later. I love Lancetti, and this particular one is an 80s classic. I love the 80s, love the 90s. If you like vintage, you're in the right place. So love the bottle. There's something so beautiful about the bottle. It's kind of like a jewel, has this sapphire lid, and this is the 50 ml, but I just love the way this frosted glass almost makes this look like a beveled jewel. So this is Suspense by Lancetti. As I mentioned, in the description box, you will find the perfumes listed later. If you want to leave me a comment, I'll be happy to help you find them. So I'm going to give this a little bit of a spritz. Absolutely adore this fragrance. What do I love about it? Well, it's a Galbanum bomb. I love Galbanum as a fragrance, as a note, as an everything. Most of my favorite 80s and vintage fragrances, and just fragrances in general, have Galbanum in it. Let's talk about Galbanum. What is it? I would say that this will take you through the day and certainly into the night. On a summer night, it'll stand up. The dry down is exquisite. On the initial It's quite heady and green, but there's something about this fragrance that is so bewitching and intoxicating. I was talking to one of the Instagrammers that I follow who also loves vintage Colburn, John Colburn, and he had reviewed it, and I found somebody else. There's very few reviews of this online because it's a vintage. I think it's discontinued, but you might still be able to find it. I found it online. Okay. Right, let's get to it. Let's talk about Galbanum and why I absolutely adore Suspense Lancetti, which I've just sprayed on myself. So let me call it up for you guys, so we can talk about this amazing fragrance, which I absolutely love. And it's on my top 5 for life. You know what that means, don't you? That means if I had to have grab 5 fragrances out of my whole collection, this would be it. And this would be number 1. Suspense Lancetti. Hi, Anne. Hi, Amanda. Love the necklace. Oh, thank you. And my linen dress. It's grey and white linen. I rather love it because it's so hot. It's ridiculous. Thank you, Anne. Lovely to have you join us. From Dublin, Anne joins us, Ireland. So I'm going to look for the notes on this. First, I'm going to talk about Galbanum. As I just mentioned, I absolutely love Galbanum as a note in perfume. Can't get enough of it. I've always loved it. I can't imagine ever being without it. But before we get to Galbanum, let's just tell you about this beautiful Lancetti Suspense, number 1 on my top 5 for life, from Italy. You might have to go back and watch the beginning, Anne, because I did an explanation you might need. When you leave a comment, you can just rewind a bit to the beginning. But when I was grabbing these top 5, I realized they were mostly Italian. There were quite a few of them vintage. No surprises there. But I realized, I've got another 5 lovely French fragrances that I adore. So I had to decide that tonight will be my top 5 for life, Italy. And then next week will be my top 5 for life, French. So that's what it is, because my goodness, I know that I would grab these 5 if I had to. Okay, so I have to agree with some agreement here. Okay, so let me read for you what is in this gorgeous concoction, and it is a concoction. Suspense by Lancetti is a woody, spicy fragrance for women. Suspense was launched in 1993. So 93, love the 80s, love the 90s. This was 93. The nose behind this fragrance is Arturetto Landi, an Italian nose. There's a couple of his other fragrances that I love and didn't know about this one. When I found it about a year ago, I nearly had a heart attack because I couldn't stop wearing it. It was so gorgeous. It was like made specially for me. Top notes are green notes, Galbanum, as I mentioned, my favorite Galbanum, bergamot, hyacinth, lemon, mandarin orange, and peach. Middle notes are honey, narcissus, lily of the valley, my gorgeous lily of the valley, carnation, ylang-ylang, rose, jasmine, and orris root. Now, these are all quality fragrance notes in fragrance. Base notes are oak moss, sandalwood, vetiver, amber, styrax, musk, tonka bean, and vanilla. So it's a whole soup. And the quality ingredients that went into this in 93, if this was made today, if somebody decided to get these beautiful fragrance notes, costly fragrance notes like orris root and all the 30 ingredients of this perfume and make a fragrance like this today, it would sell for €500. And there are other niche fragrances that try to get this feeling, and they are extremely costly because these ingredients are quality. So anyway, adore it. Found it by accident. I think I have an extra bottle in my Etsy if any of you are desperate for it. But anyway, can't be without it. Top 5. Now I'm going to get to Galbanum because I mentioned to you that I absolutely love fragrances with Galbanum. The people that have worn this fragrance and reviewed it have absolutely raved about it because it has that oak moss, has the green notes, but it has such a beautiful dry down. Anyway, let's get to Galbanum because I want to just focus a little bit on Galbanum, having said that I do love it and it's in some of my favorite fragrances. So it's in the group of greens, herbs, and fougères, in other words, ferns, an intense and persistent bitter green fragrance. So yeah, I don't know if that really sums it up well enough. But some of the things that have it in, let me give you some of that. Frederic Malle, which everyone's talking about at the moment, Synthetic Jungle has it in. Ex Nihilo Viper Green, Dio Miss Dio, Eau de Toilette Original, Tom Ford Vert Bohème, Tom Ford, Robert Piquet Bandit Supreme. Oh, love these fragrances. Dio Miss Dio Esprit de Parfum, Dio Miss Dio Perfume. Sorry, I'm trying to speak French. Have to get my brain right. Cartier Master Cartier Gold, Golan Chamad. Love Golan Chamad. Who doesn't love Golan Chamad? Oh my God. So what I discovered is I love so much of. I just love Galbanum. Celine Night Clubbing, another fragrance has it in. Serge Lutens Basse de Soie, Perfumes Dusita Le Sillage Blanc, Issey Miyake Ascent by Issey, Francesca Bianchi Lux Carne Volupte, Grace Cabochard, the classic Grès Cabochard Eau de Parfum 2019. Rolf Lauren Safari, another one that has lots of Galbanum in it. Maison Crivelli Iris Maquillan, Chanel number 19, some of these are green. Tom Ford Vert de Fleur, Davidoff Cool Water Reborn, Cartier Master Cartier Parfum. I could just go on and go on. Maison Martin Margiela, Frederic Malle French Lover. I could go on for hours, but anyway, I think you're getting the feeling. Boadicea, the Victorious Pioneer. I mean, there just isn't, there's just so many top niche fragrances costing a fortune that have Galbanum. And then there's 1907, a beautiful house I love, Galbanum. So there we are. Has that convinced you? If you're looking for something cheaper, and I hate the word cheap, but if you're looking for something on the affordable, which is always what I talk about, I always talk about affordable. I never mention the C word. Al Haramain, which is out of United Arab Emirates, have one called Miracle that has Galbanum in it. And Creed has Jazmal, which has Galbanum. So if you haven't fallen in love with Galbanum yet, I suggest if you can find some Suspense by Lanchetti, you will be over the moon. I cannot get enough of this. I'm going to cry when this 50 mil's done. I do have a backup. But my goodness, am I thrilled that I found this. This jewel bottle with its sapphire lid. It's so gorgeous. And it's super hot at the moment. You would think that something with so many floral notes, so many gorgeous, intense green notes would be heavy, but it isn't. It's beautiful in summer. It stands up in the heat. It's absolutely gorgeous. Anne says, I thought Jean-Louis Scherer I bought Jean-Louis Scherer. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. Recently for my sister Anne. It's very green. She loves it. I have heard great reviews on Suspense by Lanchetti. I didn't know that. I thought I was one of the few that ever reviewed it. So anyway, Here we are. So that's number 1 of my top 5 for life, people. Can you guess the rest? Victor Dubo, hi Amanda, hi everyone. Victor, won't you give us your city in the text box? So number 1, Beautiful Gold Barnum, Suspense by Lanchetti. Top 5 for life, can't be without it. I will cry if I don't have this perfume in my life. Because it's vintage, it's so affordable, doesn't cost 400 like most niches with ingredients. It has top beautiful notes and ingredients, but affordable. Number 2 on the line, for those of you joining late, I'm going to explain once again. Tonight it's my top 5 for life, but then I discovered, these are all Italians in my rotation, Italian fragrances, most of them vintage. So next week I'm doing top 5 for life French perfumes. Okay, forgive me, please. Another one that I love, found by accident. Oh, how lovely. Prague. Yes, you've joined us before, Victor. Welcome back. Another one that I absolutely love. It's another vintage. Sergio Soldano, Atelier Noir. Cannot get enough of this 80s classic beauty. Absolutely beautiful. When I first sprayed this on me, I love the rose note, but what I love most about this fragrance, and the reason it's number 2 on my list, look at its gorgeous Art Deco bottle, is that it has Lily of the Valley in the most exquisite expression. It is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. I can never be without it. It's super affordable. You can find it online, no problem whatsoever. I highly recommend it. It is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to be smelling like a goddess tonight after these beautiful fragrances that I've put on dried down. So let me call this up for you and give you some of the notes because it's so exquisite. So I just mentioned that I do love Lily of the Valley. Even Suspense that I just mentioned has Lily of the Valley. I love it as a note. I really do. Okay, let's see if it'll call it up. So now we're going to speak about Atelier Noir. As I mentioned, please don't worry if you don't get the names or you can't remember what I said, because I'm going to list the perfumes down in the description box, as I always do. For those of you just joining us, this is coming to you from my kitchen. It's as hot as hell in Italy, has been this whole week, so couldn't bear to be up in the studio. I'm in my kitchen. I love Sergio Soldano Men Line. Yes, isn't it amazing? All of them. Okay, are you ready to listen to what's in Atelier Noir? So the notes are rose, floral, powdery, woody, fruity, white floral, amber, musky, violet, green. There's always the green note floating through my fragrances. Atelier Noir by Sergio Soldano is an amber floral, my favorite kind, fragrance for women. Atelier Noir was launched in 1988. I mentioned the 80s. It's a vintage. Top notes are wild berries and peach. Middle notes are rose, violet, lily of the valley, hyacinth and jasmine. I love the combination, the little bit of bitter hyacinth and the jasmine. The base notes are ambergris, white musk, patchouli. I love patchouli as a note, and vetiver. The vetiver I didn't even realize, but it gives it a beautiful freshness. So there we are. Atelier Noir, super affordable. Find it online. Yeah, I'm sure you can find it on eBay. Okay, I just absolutely adore this fragrance. Okay, cannot get enough. Okay, so we're moving on to number 3, right? Still in Italy. We're still in Italy. We haven't run away yet. Okay, so are you ready for number 3? Number 3 also comes in a beautiful black bottle. I found this by accident. All 3 of these fragrances, Suspense from Italy, Sergio Soldano, Atelier Noir, and Blue Marine Danger Rose were all found by accident. I experimented, I smelt them on a visit to Milan and fell in love, especially with this, because I sprayed this on a perfume counter. I don't generally go to perfume counters because I know what I want and I don't really want to have a whole lot of stuff thrown at me. And anyway, there was a little bottle and it had just been released. It was on a special and she sprayed it on me and I said, okay, let me live with it. I've told the story before because this is in my rose fragrances. It's a rose fragrance, by the way. And we went away to lunch. We spent the whole afternoon. I let it dry down. And then I just happened to take a sniff of the back of my hand. And oh my God, I loved this rose. It had something that captured me completely. And I thought, oh my goodness, look at this bottle. I mean, every one of these bottles have been absolutely stunning, but look at this bottle. So this is a beautiful rose. It has basil as the top note. Might put some people off. It certainly doesn't put me off. That basil herbal top note then gives way to this intense, mystic, almost melancholic rose that's beautiful on windy, cold weather and in the rain, and even in gorgeous, hot summer days. Absolutely love this rose. It's super unique, it's intense, but it has this lovely basil note that I love so much. Adore. Great. Danger Rose. I'm going to give you the notes. So, as I mentioned, fell in love with this, couldn't get enough of it, and I have to say, yeah, it's in my top 5 for life because I can't imagine now ever being without it. Absolutely adore it. Absolutely adore it. So, Danger Rose. I think it was voted as one of the most beautiful bottles ever made, and I completely agree. It's heavy glass with this almost dagger-like lid and the rose embossed on the neck of the bottle. So the main accords are rose, floral, fresh, spicy. I do love fresh, spicy. Woody, aromatic, green. There's the aromatic and green again. I can't get away from it. Amber, musky, soft, spicy, herbal. Danger Rose by Blue Marine is a floral, woody musk fragrance for women. Didn't really think about the musk. The musk isn't that heavy, thank goodness. Danger Rose was launched in 2017. The nose behind the fragrance is Pierre Constantin Gueros. Top notes are basil, as I mentioned, pink pepper, which is quite common in fragrances now, and pear. The middle notes are rose, freesia, which I absolutely adore, and magnolia. Base notes are cashmere wood, patchouli and white amber. I think you're seeing a theme here. I do love green notes in a fragrance. I love a rose note. I love lily of the valley, but I love that patchouli that holds it all together. Hi, everyone from Germany. Hello, I haven't seen you for ages. How are you? You'll have to go back and catch up. I'm on 1, 2, 3, 5 for life from Italy. 5, my top 5 from Italy for life, and I'm going to do the French ones next week. As I discovered, I can't limit myself to 5 fragrances for life just from Italy, but these are really my absolute favorites. So, number 1, Suspense by Lancetti. Number 2, Sergio Soldano, Atelier Noir, which I adore. Number 3, Danger Rose, which I've just spoken about. Number 4 is a gorgeous freshie. Another accident. All 3 of these were an accident. Smelt them blind, absolutely adored them. This I just ordered because it came from my little man in Milan, because he said, oh, I don't have that, but I have this. This is Morrisale, another Italian house, Maurice. And this is Entente. Oh, I hope my French is being pronounced properly. In other words, very similar to Chanel charts. So in summer, this is a gorgeous morning when you're just going out to buy the newspaper and get some croissants or some fruit for your Sunday lunch, and just you in a great mood and you're skipping along. Absolutely gorgeous way. Fresh, sunny. If you like Chanel charms, you'll love this. Italian, vintage, super affordable, as all my fragrances are. So I threw that one in there because we're having such a hot summer. So many happy accidents, yeah. But I believe the expression, there are no accidents. Anyway, I was meant to find all of these. I don't know if you're having such a hot time in Germany. Let us know if you are. My goodness, it's been so hot here. So that's a kind of there. That's number 4. And number 5. This was a toss-up whether I should put this at number 1 with Suspense. But I found this before I found Suspense. So Suspense is a little bit newer. But this is another vintage absolute beauty that I found from Jenny. I've done a whole Jenny with a G. I've done a whole Jenny edition. I should link it up there somewhere. I'll try and link up all my former videos on these beautiful Italian vintages. This is a fragrance to die for. It comes in this, every one of these bottles that I've shown you tonight are stunning. All made in Italy, all designed in Italy, all vintages. Yeah, I think they're all pretty much vintage. And this is Jenny, and it's called simply Jenny Black. Comes in that box because they're different Jennies. This is Eau de Parfum. Absolutely in love with this. Cannot be without it. I've got 3 backup bottles. Yeah. Again, it's an entire floral soup, but it has those magic ingredients that all my favorite fragrances are. I just pulled these today knowing that I adore these. Never thinking that there's a theme here, because I just pulled, I thought if I had to run out the door with 5 fragrances, what would I run out with? Very warm here in Germany, Amanda, but still tolerable. Well, not here. It's 40 degrees in the shade. Hope you're managing well with the heat, which is certainly more intense in Italy. You better believe it. You can't beat vintages. This is Anne from Dublin, my darling Anne. They have staying power compared to the modern. I couldn't agree more. And they're better made. Sorry for those of you who disagree, who buy niche. But anyway, there we are. I don't buy niche. Eau de Parfum, Jenny Noir. Can't go wrong. Let me give you the notes. This was a toss-up for number 1, but in fact it's in position 5. But these are all equal in ranking. These are my top 5 for life. I'm going to tag a bunch of people in Instagram, and you're going to tell me your top 5 for life. Okay, so let's just go to the Jenny Noir so I can give you the beautiful notes. Oh, love these fragrances. My goodness. Okay, there's a theme going on here. Main accords, earthy, woody, mossy, patchouli, warm, spicy, amber, musky, balsamic, aromatic, floral. Jenny Noir by Jenny, which is a fashion house still going strong. This is a vintage perfume, but Jenny, the house of Jenny in Italy, still makes beautiful fashion. Is a Chypre. You know I adore Chypre. If you've been watching me for any time, you know I love Chypre. Floral fragrance for women. Top notes are cardamom. I love cardamom in a fragrance. I reviewed something else this week with cardamom. And petitgrain. I love petitgrain. Middle notes are rose, osmanthus, iris, jasmine, and ylang-ylang. Base notes are oak moss. There's my oak moss. Patchouli, the theme. Musk. Labdanum, another thing I love. The wild beach rose, labdanum, and ambergris. Can you get any better ingredients than these? I mean, they are astoundingly beautiful. So, Jenny Black, Jenny Noir from Italy. Look at this bottle. This side is flat, so you can lie it down, and it's this gorgeous cylindric bottle. So I promised you that I would do top 5 for life tonight, but since it's been so incredibly difficult to choose these 5 and only these 5, I've decided I'm going to throw in an extra for you because it was so difficult. And number 5, the added extra, is this gorgeous fragrance from Etro. Now, I've done a whole Etro edition. Etro is another beautiful fashion house from Italy, which I wish I could afford all their fashion because it is simply exquisite. Adore Etro, absolutely adore. But another happy accident. Every single one of these fragrances that I've done top 5 for life tonight is Italian, from an Italian designer, and was found by accident. And this was no exception. Went into Etro during Fashion Week, during Design Week in Milan. They have a beautiful branch in the Brera, the fashion district of Milan. If you're ever in Milan and you like Etro, or you just like to try Etro, and asked to try some more of their fragrances I hadn't tried before because I love so many of their fragrances. They have a beautiful patchouli, which I've reviewed before. They have something called Man Rose, which I adore, spoken about that before. If you're a man and you want a beautiful rose, Etro have the beautiful Man Rose. And then I tried this called Chanton, and Chanton was the name of the silk, a kind of spun silk that was very fashionable, sort of 60s, 70s. Peter, I looking for sugar mommy? No, sorry. Yeah, no, I don't have any money. Yeah, this message is hold for review. Yeah, Peter, I'm sorry. You're going to have to look somewhere else, eh? Yeah. I don't have much sugar. I just have perfume. And quite an empty purse. But thanks for the attention. Anyway, Chanton, number 6, this is the extra. Adore this rose. It's a beautiful rose. And as I say, if you love Etro, give it a spin. It's called Chanton. Lovely, gorgeous rose. So as I always do, as I round up, I'm going to go back through these 5. And yeah, isn't that going to be great? Right. So number 1, gorgeous, superlative Suspense by Lanchetti. Super, super wonderful. If you missed the review, go back and watch this and you can get all the notes again. And well said, Amanda. Is that about the sugar? And Atelier Noir from Sergio Soldano's number 2. Adore, adore, adore Lily of the Valley. Also, I mean, all of these are beautiful notes. I can't give you all the notes again. You've got to go back and watch. Dangerose, number 3 in the lineup. The most beautiful melancholic rose. This lovely freshie, which is like Chanel's Chance. Lovely on a fresh summer day. This magnificent masterpiece from Jenny Noir. Can't get enough of it. Absolute masterpiece. That's number 5. And the added extra is Etro Chanton. No sugar. What did you say? Message retracted. I don't know. Did you take back your message? No sugar, just perfume. Come on, write the message again. I want to see what you wrote, Mazakwa. That's good. Let me know what you wrote. I want to know what you wrote. Anyway, so yeah, here we are. So hot as hell. Hope you enjoyed tonight's Italian edition of my top 5 for life. Loved having my live audience from all over the world. Peter is now sending me kisses. No sugar, just perfume. Great mantra. It's a mantra that a diabetic could sign up for. No sugar, just perfume. Anyway, and I don't really like sweet perfume either. So yeah, I wouldn't make a good sugar mommy for anybody anyway. And I don't have the pocketbook to be anybody's sugar mommy. But hey, I'm sure you can find somebody else. Lots of other perfume reviewers. Anyway, darling audience, thank you for joining me from Germany, from Dublin, and from Prague, all my lovely audience. And if you watch this back later, thanks for watching. And if I tag you on Instagram with your top 5 for life, you're going to tell me your top 5 for life. If you'd like to leave me a message after, it helps the channel enormously, even if you've left a message during the live. Go back, leave me a message. I love to know what you're thinking with your top 5 for life, or whatever else you want to tell me or ask me. And so loved having you join. And don't forget, next week, same place, same time, we're going to do top 5, my French top 5. So sending lots of love from Italy. Bye, everyone. Bye. See you next week. Same time, same place. Bye.